Good morning, Alta Realty Group agents. This is Kevin Lauren. I'm the Director of Training and Marketing here. And today we are also joined by Bill Seitz from Clearview Mortgage. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good morning, Kevin.
All right. Beautiful day for a webinar as usual. And
Yeah.
so, of course, Bill Seitz is our Clearview Mortgage liaison. And so he's going to be sharing a couple of things before we get into the meat of our presentation. And today we're also joined by Travis Breton, our corporate broker. Good morning, Travis.
Good morning, Kevin. How's it going?
Very well, thank you. Good. So before we get into the meat of our listing checklist webinar, which will be awesome, I think this is a really good way for all of us to keep organized when we get a new listing. We're going to have Bill Seitz go through a few things in the mortgage world. So take it away, Bill.
Thank you, Kevin. If you could, or good morning, everybody. First and foremost, good morning. Hope everyone's got a nice cup of coffee or tea or whatever their beverage of choice is. It's a good time to. I do as well. So I do like to enjoy my morning porridge here before we get going. But anyways, Kevin, if you could just pull up, there you go. I just want to give everyone a quick update. I know that we've spent some time talking about the 10-year treasury rate and how the bonds and mortgage rates move basically in synchronicity or in tandem. And we've talked a lot about what's happened in the last couple of months and what was forecasted to happen. Well, the exact opposite has happened. And we've been watching this every week actually for a while. And I kind of, we left it. I just want to come back to it real quick to really show you how dramatic this has been. If you look at today, we're at 2.39. And I believe the last time we went through this little visual exercise, the rates were at 2.68, maybe even 2.59. So we've lost another 20. Right? Yeah, exactly. Another 20 basis points off of the 10-year treasury. And Kevin, if you go back to that's got the year up there. So sure. If you look at what last year was, if you look from basically April to March or April to February of last year, the rates are lower now than they have been all of last year. So mortgage rates are literally below at any point that they were of all of last year, essentially. So, all we heard about in the mortgage and the real estate market was how rates are going to continue to rise. The Fed's going to raise the rate 2 or 3 more times. It's inevitable. We're going to do this. Well, that hasn't happened. So that's why it's super important to be educated in this stuff. And, I've got a couple people to follow up with today as far as refinancing, because as we naturally do purchase loans and we make sure that we stay on top of our clientele and make sure when they have an opportunity to drop their rate and do a rate and term refinance, or maybe they have some other goals in mind, it's important that we understand where the market is at all times so we can obviously do our job to help our clientele. That being said, there is quite a big opportunity to do some refinancing if anyone bought homes in the last calendar year. So I wanted to announce an incentive to all of you agents out there in the Alta Realty Group, agent base and family, that if you do refer over anyone that needs to refinance, we will take care of your next transaction fee on your next transaction. So we'd like to say thank you that way. If you have somebody that you know that may need to refinance or may need to have at least looked at, and if they can save some money or improve their terms, we would love to look at it. And if we go ahead and do that for them, we would like to reward you with a free transaction. So I think that's a good win-win for everybody. And please keep that in mind. And then lastly, Kevin, I think what I'm going to do, I was going to go through the importance of a pre-approval, and I was going to share a couple stories that I have recently. But Kevin, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare something, kind of a little outline for next week, and then I'll share my kind of lender educational nightmare anecdote from our perspective.
That's good. So that'll be helpful.
Yeah, just so we can kind of avoid things and just help educate not only the agents but all of ourselves about the proper way to do all this stuff. And not that most of you do know how to do it, but I want to share some things maybe next week. I think it's probably better to have a visual thing for you guys and kind of knock down the proper, proper things that you should be doing when you're working with buyers. So I think, Kevin, I'll just kind of expand on that next week, and then I'll share the anecdotes as well, but that'll probably take a few minutes. So I think that's probably best I'll push out to next week.
Yeah, not a problem. No, I think that's really important because we know that there are horror stories when we get down to, the 11th hour and all of a sudden stuff comes unraveled. Not what we want to do, and we want to prevent that in any way that we can.
Absolutely. So looking forward to your listing presentation. I think that's a big part of what agents maybe struggle with, or they don't really have their arms wrapped around a proper listing, what their listing presentations they're confident about, or their checklist and getting prepared for that. So I think that's a really good topic, Kevin. So take it away.
For sure. Well, thank you, Bill. And the one thing that I just want to put out there is when we get a listing as agents, the thing that I want everybody to think about is that listing, you're going to use that listing to get more listings. So sometimes agents are like, oh, well, I'm not going to spend the money on the photography or this and that. I think that's a really poor way to go about things, especially if you're a new agent and you don't have too much, real good marketing materials and all that kind of stuff. Well, I think it's really, really important to make sure that we create some really good marketing and stuff, and websites and video and all of the collateral that goes along with listings, because we're going to use all of that in our marketing to get more listings. And so that's just the theme that I want everybody to think about when they get a listing. So I will pull up my handy dandy listing checklist. And I've got a few of these, and I'll share these with you guys for sure. But this is just a really, really standard it's just a nice checklist, and it's nice to have it printed out and literally put a check mark into these spots when you've completed them. So this is cool too, because it also gives us a little bit of a, when these things should be done. And so, and a lot of this stuff is really important, but I'll go through this. There's a few things that I change with this checklist, but anyway, a really, really good idea to have a checklist and to make sure that you start that way. And Travis, before we get too much further into it, do you have any insight into that theme that I talked about at the beginning?
As far as presenting your listings well.
Yes.
In the MLS. Yeah.
Yes.
I came across one. Well, it's been listed for a few weeks now, and I've actually tried to show it for the past 2 weekends, and the agent doesn't return phone calls, his voicemail is full, and doesn't answer texts. So, but anyways, it took me back, like 10 or 12 years when we didn't really do professional photos that much, and we're all working with really bad cameras, and the pictures are just horrendous. The remarks on it was, this is not a house, it's a home. And that's the only remarks as far as the marketing remarks. And there's pictures in there sideways, there's duplicates. I mean, it's just a complete mess. Yeah. So I was just, the first thing I did, I was just shaking my head, and of course the thing's just sitting there.
Oh yeah, it's not going to get sold that way. So good point there. So one of the things that I just preach front and back is professional photography. Professional photography and staging. If you're not good with staging, there's plenty of people that can help you with that. And getting the house prepared properly so we can get those professional photos. We can get, somebody that knows how to use Photoshop and knows how to take those photos that they take and to actually create a really, really meaningful, really good, high quality photos. So I would say that is really if you're starting there, you're going to be ahead by leaps and bounds. So professional photos and staging, if the price point warrants, absolutely professional video. However, we do have, a few weeks ago, we went through a great little video app called Spark Video. And so all of us can create quick, super, nice little, quick, down and dirty listing video that just kind of teases. The other thing that we can do is, I think about, I want to say 3-4 months ago, we did a webinar about doing Zillow walkthroughs. And so you can go to Zillow apps. Let me just bring this up real quick. And you can go to, on your phone, you can download the Zillow walkthrough app. It's free, and you can create a non-branded, nice Zillow style walkthrough. And so a couple of things that are important about that is, first of all, Zillow will push your listings to the top or further to the top if you include their Zillow walkthrough video. So it's just a great little trick. So, and Travis, do you have any experience with Zillow walkthrough videos?
Not a lot. It's not something I've really delved into a whole lot.
Yeah, so it's something that I think a lot of people can expand on this, and I don't see a lot of the agents doing this. So I really recommend it. Check out the app. We do have a webinar, so you can go through the Agent Marketing Resource Center, and you can look up that Zillow walkthrough app. And so that's a great way to get some video, because as we all know, and I talk about it all the time in our webinars, video is huge, and it sells, and people really pay attention to video, and so it should not be neglected. So that's another really great tool and part of the listing checklist. And then I also have our own kind of Alta Realty Group best practices for listings. And so, of course, video, all the different walkthrough stuff, all good stuff. But the next thing that I want to talk about is our text writers. And so I think, I think there's still maybe a place for having the brochures and the little brochure box out in front, but I really want to see our agents pushing the envelope with technology, because we all have access to our text marketing system through agent marketing. So our agent marketing platform does allow us to create text writers. And, so one example is one of our agents, Marcella Kosin. She has Marcella Sells. So it's basically a text writer that says, text Marcella Sells to 7659 or whatever the little number is, and you will get all of the information for that listing. So what a better way to get our information about our homes and our listings out to our people that are just driving by than to have them get out of the car. Honey, get out of the car, go get one of those little flyers in the box. Like, there's a place for that, but we are a technology company. We have access to the technology, so let's use it. And by the way, the millennials and the largest group of first-time home buyers, they want to get the information that way. So we always want to do, we always want to prepare things and present things digitally, because that's where the future is. We don't want to be the Go ahead,
Kevin. I have an opinion on that. I think if you're a listing agent, you're crazy not to do this. I mean, that is the simplest way to have a funnel of new potential buyers or sellers. People that are driving to the neighborhood, they live in the neighborhood, they're going to get the information regardless. They want to see what's being sold. All they have to do is text this little code. They get instant, basically a digital brochure, right, Kevin?
Oh,
and
yeah.
They have all the information immediately, and it's super simple. Once you set it up, once you have this code, you can use this code again and again. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So yeah, exactly. So when you get a new listing, all we do is switch out on the back end. We switch out the URL or the web address where that text is going to be sent. And so this is an example of one of the one-page, the single property websites that they will be directed to. So they just put in the text, and boom, this gets sent to their phone. And this is a very mobile, responsive website. All of the websites, all the property websites that we use with our agent marketing system are mobile responsible. So they look awesome on a cell phone. So, and you just look that much more professional, that much more ahead of the competition when you're utilizing these bits of technology. And so that as well goes into your listing presentation. And I know we've done lots of listing presentation kinds of stuff. I'm not going to go into that today, but just know that our agent marketing system does have an awesome listing presentation package, and we can digitally make an amazing listing presentation that outlines all of these things that we're going to do for the seller before we get the listing. So I won't go deep into that, but that's, obviously we've got that that functionality as well. So getting back to the checklist, pull my checklist back up. Checklist, it's got all of the important kind of I would say the business end, the 101 listing stuff. Install the for sale sign, enter the property on the MLS. But one thing that I like to do prior to entering the property into the MLS is to do a pre-listing Facebook advertisement. And so we can create our single property website, and we can boost that out on Facebook and Instagram prior to the listing and create a little bit of buzz. And when we do that, we can do two different things. We can do a split test where we send one ad campaign to realtors, local realtors. We want to make sure that everybody in the local area knows that we've got this new listing. The other split test is to consumers, to regular people in the area as well. And so we want to, again, target that small geographic area, most likely no more than about 20 to 25 miles around that area. And, that's how we would send out a little bit of information, create a little bit of buzz prior to putting that on the MLS. Then, of course, we want to put the property on the MLS. We want to create a broker's open. We want to make sure that everybody in our board knows about the property. Come on through, everybody, take a look at it. So that's really important as well. And then we want to make sure that once we've done that, we schedule an open house, of course. Schedule a nice big open house, if at all possible. Serve some kind of a snack, or Marcella has a guy come out and make brats at some of her open houses. And so it's just, you got to create some kind of a buzz. The other thing that you need to do when you do that open house and you get that listing, you put out the sign, walk the neighborhood, introduce yourself to the neighbors. Let them know that, hey, you're the realtor, you just got this listing, just want to introduce yourself. And I would hand each of those people a client welcome kit. If you guys have been on the webinars for the last few weeks, we've been going through the client welcome kit. Really, really great way to introduce ourselves and our services to the people in the community. Travis, what would you have to add there?
As far as sorry, I was actually on the other line real quick. I just talked back over. No
problem at all. So, what I would say is just, creating that neighborhood buzz is so important.
Yes.
Because you're going to be able to talk to the different people, say, hey, this is what I am. And then especially for you guys that really work farms and really work a small area, after you get a few of these listings, you become the person in the area. And the more signs that you have out there, the more that you're interacting with the local population there, way better off. Everybody's going to start to know you. That's how you really create your farm. So really, really important stuff there. Yeah.
I know we have a couple agents that are pretty religious with doing that, and the sign branding and everything else, and they host their open houses, whether it's their listing or not, in their direct neighborhood or small area farm, and they're getting listings that way. People are walking in and saying, hey, we see your signs every week, and we're going to be selling our house, and we're kind of interested in this one to purchase. So we have a couple that they do a lot of double ins that way, and they're getting listings that way too. And that's all they're doing is, posting up the open house basically, and walking the neighborhood a little bit.
They're just doing their job, right?
Yeah, simple marketing, and they're really not spending very much money actually on the marketing either, as far as trying to generate new leads. They're just out there in the public, basically. For
sure. And so, then what I would do after that, of course, is I would advertise on Facebook and Instagram. I would do a boosted post and advertise the open house. And so that's how you drive, some people, they wonder they're sitting in their open houses and they wonder why there's nobody there. Well, you got to do the groundwork first, and you got to make sure that you're getting people to the open house, create some kind of an incentive. So that is a great way to do it. Hey, we're having a party over here on Saturday. Come on over, right? So that's what I would think. Those things are really, really key to get the buzz going for that property. So once that's done, you've done a lot for that seller, and they are going to appreciate that a ton. So of course, after that, you want to, of course, when you have a listing, you want to go back out to all of your people in your sphere of influence, all of the people on your list, and let them know that you've got the listing. Talk to them, tell them what's going on. It's a great reason to reach out to people, especially people that have maybe fallen off the radar, and you get to re-engage them. So this is a perfect way to, just tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, I'm over here, I'm still doing real estate. So really, really great way to re-engage past clients. I already went through, walk through the neighborhood, introduce yourself, pass out the client welcome kits. Really, really important. And then also, you're all networked up with a lot of local realtors. Call these local realtors up. Let them know, right? I mean, just let everybody know what you're doing over here, and you're going to create buzz. But, you can't just sit on your hands and hope the thing sells. Doesn't happen.
Kevin.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so I helped my parents sell their home in Irvine last year, right? And Kevin, where they're at over there in West Park.
Yes.
Growing up in Irvine, I know most of the communities fairly well, but day to day, I do finance. I'm doing mortgage. I'm helping Clearview build that for this company. That's where I do most of my day to day operations. But I've sold a couple hundred homes in my life. I know the process. I know what to do. And I do help select people. So when my parents said, hey, we're going to move to Palm Springs, naturally I'm going to help them. I'm going to give them a good deal and make sure they can keep most of their equity, and I'm going to do them a service. So I had been out of that neighborhood for a while, wasn't quite I had an idea where I wanted to price the home, was pretty confident, but what better than to identify 3 of the local experts, which I knew who they were because I had worked with one of them at Prudential back in the early 2000s when I originally got licensed. And his name was Mario Gamboa. And so he was one of the people that I called. I called Mario before I even put this in the MLS, before I put the sign up. I said, hey, Mario, we work together a lot. I know you do this, you work this neighborhood. Do you have any buyers that are looking for, they're working with, do you want to come by and show the home before I put it on the market? Well, if this guy has a buyer, he's not going to say no, right? He's going to say, heck yeah, I want to get in first with my buyer and see if I can create the transaction. Number 2, I got instant feedback from an expert in that marketplace on what the price of the home should be and where he feels it could, where I should be pricing it. So not only was I trying to get a sale ahead of even having to put my parents, who are in their 70s, through the showing rigor mortis, which rigor maru, whatever you want to call it, because we all know selling a home it takes a lot of patience on the seller's behalf.
Yeah,
they have to realize they're going through this whole, to sell this asset, they have to go through quite a bit actually, and we all recognize that. And so, my parents being older, I was trying to see if I could knock down this sale before I even had to put them through the open house schedule, put them through all the showings, put them through the broker preview, do all this stuff. I didn't get the sale that way, but I did get invaluable market, insight and data from an expert, and we got it priced and it was sold. I think I got it into contract within like 14 days or so. So, that is, I think, essential to if you guys want to work smart, you're not maybe sure what the home should be priced at, talk to a market expert and see what they can help you out with.
I mean, what a great idea, Bill. Really, really important. So, and Travis, I think you had something else to add as well.
Yeah, to build on that just a little bit, if we're talking about networking, join up almost every area has a caravan once a week.
Sure.
And there is a lot of homes being sold at those caravans that aren't even really hitting the market. They're just, the realtors are doing the deals at the caravans. Just kind of building on what Bill was saying, talking to the local experts. I know my market is still, it's still pretty hot. Listings are, far and few between. And a lot of buyers agents are going there. They're talking, getting a good rapport with some of these strong listing agents. And the listing agents, they want a quick sale too, and some of the homeowners also want a quick sale. I mean, they don't, like, Bill's parents, they didn't really want to go through all of the rigmarole of showing the home and setting appointments and having people trampling through your house and everything. So do think about the caravans if you're into networking and things like that, or if you have a buyer and you're having a hard time getting them into a listing, try checking out that, because there's a lot of pocket listings there.
Oh man, and I mean it's huge. I purchased my home about 2 years ago now, and it did not hit the market. I had, my sister-in-law is a local real estate agent, and she knew that I was kind of looking, and she said, "This hasn't hit the market yet. You may want to take a look." So I mean that happens all the time. And coming back to Bill's anecdote, he didn't sell the property before it hit the market, but he could have easily, and it happens all the time. So always network with your local agents, because that's just, it's an easy way to get that sale fairly quickly. So folks, I do have a chat feature in our webinars, so don't ever hesitate to go in and fill out a question if you've got questions. I know this stuff is fairly straightforward. And this is also the kind of stuff that I really like to work one-on-one with agents. So when you get a listing, what you got to do is go on to our Calendly link and schedule a 60-minute training or consultation with me, and we can go through all this stuff. We can make sure that we're setting up your checklist. We're making sure that you're clicking all the boxes, and we're getting you organized to make that sale, and to be really, we got to get. We have to make you very, very proactive and effective. That way you are providing value to your sellers. So I don't see any other questions in the chat. I know new agent Mary Kirch just got a listing today. Very, very excited about her. She and I will be working together as soon as we get off the webinar and getting her organized. Travis, anything else to add as we end the webinar today?
Just building off of Bill's earlier presentation, I think we were all kind of prepared for a market slowdown this year and maybe gearing up for that, but definitely seeing some renewed excitement from buyers with these new low rates. I know one of my buyers, she actually just bumped up her price range, 25 grand, which is helping immensely because she's kind of at the bottom of the market on her price range, because she's getting such a better rate now. So that might be a conversation to have with some of your buyers. We're always looking for reasons to reach out to people, and maybe someone's been sitting on the fence, or maybe they're working, with a certain price range, and now they can bump it up 10, 15, 20 grand or something because these rates are so good.
Heck yeah. No, I mean, a very good reason, because, the average layperson, they're not studying the rates. They're not looking at the 10-year treasury. We are. And so when we get this information, what better reason to contact our clients and let them know what's happening? So really good point, Travis. Bill, anything else to add as we close?
No, that is a very valid point, because obviously our purchasing power does go up as the cost of money goes down, right? It's an inverse relationship. Yep. Cost of money goes down, your buying power goes up. So that is a very good point from Travis. But give us a call, give us your scenario, let us price it out. I mean, even if you guys are working with another a lender, or you have a pre-approval with another lender, I can guarantee you we can beat it, because I have the discretion to beat it. Being broker founder of Clearview, we want your financial transactions. We want to earn your business, and we want to do a great job for them. So please give us a call. Let us know if you have anything. Don't forget about the refinance promotion that I mentioned today. if you guys just say it one more again before you sign off, Kevin, if you guys refer someone that might want to do a rate and term or maybe looking to get cash out, give us a buzz. We'll give you we'll pay for your next transaction through Alta, and you can enjoy that 100% commission. So I'll leave it there, and it's been a great webinar.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you, Bill, for coming on the webinar as usual. Travis, thank you so much for coming on the webinar. And really, really appreciate all you agents taking the time once a week to learn more about some stuff that you may not have thought about. And so I really, really appreciate all of your time as well. So let's get out there, make it a great day and a great week. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday. We'll be back on Wednesday webinars next week. And so we will talk to you all then. Have a nice day.